Hi everyone. I hope you can hear me well. All right. Okay. So welcome to Gojo's webinar. It's about earthquakes in Myanmar. So today I'm your host Taejun, Shin, the co-founder and CEO of Gojo and Company. I'm joined by Michel Iams, who is managing director and CEO of Microfinance Delta International in Myanmar, and the Mason, who's in charge of the earthquake relief project of Parami University, which is the first liberal art university in the country. So thank you so much for joining. And I think for all the participants, you have the Q&A, how to say, the button. And from there, you can ask, you can post any questions. So today we are going to start initially with introduction of ourselves, and then followed by the situation briefing by Mason, and then followed by panel discussion and Q&A. If we end up having many questions from you, maybe that we can combine this panel and the Q&A such that we can address your questions as much as possible. So then let's start. So let's start with introduction. Yeah, the Mason, I think it's nice if you can, we already showing this the screen, but it would be great if you could introduce yourself very briefly.
Hello, my name is Mason. I'm working here in the Parami University, which is the liberal arts and sciences university, online university based in Myanmar. I was based in Mandalay, and I'm the one who personally experienced the earthquake, and I'm now working with the university project for the relief effort. Thank you so much, Vincent.
Thank you. And then you are joining today from Mandalay, right?
Yes, I do.
And how is the electricity situation and internet connectivity? Is it all right?
I am on my own hotspot
Okay. And then your phone internet is stable, mostly.
most of the time. Thank you.
Okay, great. And for the audience, for your information, in Myanmar, actually electricity and the internet connectivity is quite sometimes unstable. And in the middle, yeah, the two people might face some connectivity issue, but bear with us. All right, then next is Michel.
Yes, okay, thank you, Taejun. So I'm Michel Iams. I have more than 20 years experience in the microfinance industry, mostly in Africa and in Asia. And I've been appointed CEO of MIFIDA in August 22. And I've also have experience as a CEO in 3 African countries, Madagascar, Mali, and Zimbabwe.
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, actually, yeah, before joining us, he was assuming, the roles in very challenging countries, right? And especially
Yeah, in some way, all changing countries, absolutely.
Mali, Zimbabwe. How do you
They are
compare?
facing a
How do you
coup.
compare the market situation of Myanmar with Zimbabwe, for example, which had this super hyperinflation?
Yeah. Compared to Zimbabwe situation, I think it's different context. Huh? Zimbabwe, the problem was a macroeconomic problem,
Hmm.
inflation issue,
Hmm.
huge depreciation of the currency.
Hmm.
But market-wise and field-wise, it was okay. I mean, no repayment issue, good behavior from the clients. So Myanmar, it's a complete different context because it's a civil war, so resulting in difficulty to have access to client in some areas, some places. So resulting in downsizing the network, closing branches, writing off many loans. So difficult context, but quite different from Zimbabwe. Challenging as well. Yeah.
Right. And then there in Myanmar, we have still the operations. So Yeah, it would be nice if you could very briefly introduce MIFIDA.
Yeah, sure. So MIFIDA has been founded in 2013. Now, to give you just a quick overview of the operations, so we are operating in 7 regions. We have 28 branches. On that, we have downsized a lot. When I started and joined MIFIDA, we had 52 branches. So from 52 to 28 now. 70,000 clients, 40,000 borrowers, and we are providing financial services, lending services, and saving services to these clients.
Yeah, thank you. Then let me introduce myself again. So I'm Taejun Singh, the co-founder and the CEO of Gojo Company, which was founded in 2014. And the actually the I or besides Gojo, I co-founded 2 nonprofits. One is called Living in Peace, and another is called the JOSCHIS, Japan Office for Standards on Children's Services. And yeah, that's who I am. And let me very briefly talk about Gojo and my recent experience of the field visit. Let me be brief as much as possible. So Gojo is founded to extend financial inclusion across the globe. Now we have consolidated partners in 6 countries, and then if we include minority investment, we have presence in 13 countries. And then this is the group structure. We have the companies where we have a majority stake in these countries. Myanmar is one of them. And we have partners, or we call them group companies, and these group companies provide financial services for our customers. On pure, how to say, the consolidated basis, we have more than 2 million customers in these countries. And then let me briefly set the context for the participants, the audience, because I don't know to what extent you know the recent situation. All right. So this is Myanmar's map. For those who know the country well, bear with me for a few minutes. So what is the largest city of Myanmar? I think this one you might know well, Yangon, which has 6 million population. What is the second largest? Is Mandalay, 1.6. And there are other countries. Naypyidaw is a capital city, newly developed capital city, and there are many other places. But as you see, these are the 10 major cities, and actually, it's pretty much concentrated on the Yangon and Mandalay. And this is political violence conflicts map. And then this is also the airstrikes and the drone attacks which took place in the recent times. And you see the earthquake, and then on top of that, you see these bombings. And actually, some people, or as some people are talking about it, even after the earthquake, actually, for the time being, actually, the airstrikes continued, which was very sad fact. And when I visited the field, I had a chance to talk with the MIFIDA's branch manager, who used to be a branch manager in Sagaing, the Sagaing region, and he needed to evacuate from the conflict, and it was very difficult because his branch area became a war zone, and he didn't have a way to go to safe places on the road because all the roads are blocked. And then if you go by road, you could be taken by the military or the opposition, and anyway, your life will be at risk. So what he chose is to go down across the river. And it was a very hard travel hard, the transition, and he took a sip with some other people, and it was very scary according to him because bombings were taking place near the river side, and he anyhow managed to go to the safer town, and from there he came back, and then now he's in Yangon City, the Yerwadi division, and then here he's assuming the branch manager role there. And I had a chance to meet with many customers in Yangon City and Yerwadi in the last months, soon after the earthquake. Um, and it was actually contrary to my original expectation, quite hopeful because MIFIDA these days cater to quite entrepreneurial customers, and we mainly provide SME loans to these segments. And despite the very challenging macroeconomic environment, many people are quite optimistic. And then also, some of them said their income is improving. So these two couples are, this couple is from Mandalay. They came to Yangon from Mandalay 20 years ago for work, and they are selling these, the threads. They import it from the China, and then they sell it all over the country. Today he has 200 how to say SME customers, and it's all over the country. And even after the beginning of civil war, still the number of customers is increasing according to them. And they are still very optimistic after soon, even after the earthquake. And another customer of my feeder, actually, she is running a factory to make these hats, and actually, she imports these threads from them. And actually, she also is from Mandalay. And there is some section in Yangon City where people from Mandalay get together and then they reside together. And it was very happy moment in a sense, encouraging moment. However, the situation in Mandalay is still very serious, and which will be shared by Mason. Okay, Mason, over to you now.
Thank you, Taejun. So let me quickly share my screen. Yeah. So before talking about the situations in Mandalay, let me quickly briefly talk about the university that I'm at. So it's called Parami University. So we actually founded in 2017. We have placed offices in Yangon. Due to the situation, we couldn't operate anymore on the ground, so just move everything up into the air, which is online. So basically, our mission is to educate underserved students in developing countries. So we have students not just within Myanmar, we also have students who are residing in Thailand as well, and its border areas. So we try to change to become a change agents, contributing members of the global community. It's actually reflect their activities in the latest slide through the critical thinking, inspire leadership, and the compassionate service. So since we started, we in 2017 with the flagship program called the Parami Leadership Program. We have a total of 156 alumni across 8 cohorts. So in 2021, since we have transformed into the online university, we started offering 2 degrees, the Bachelor of Arts in the PPE, which is Philosophy, Politics, and Economics, and the SDS, Statistics and Data Science. So in class of 2026 to 2028, we have a total of 251, and we are very proud to have our first batch of associate graduates, which is a total of 43. So next year we're going to be having our first batch of graduates. We are really looking forward to that. The majority of the student populations in the university come from the ethnic states, as well as the conflict affected and the underprivileged areas. So since we have to accommodate, the people, the students from the underprivileged background, we have to make sure that they have an environment that they can learn their lessons undisrupted and peacefully. So that's why we start providing the Learning Hub. So the Learning Hub, it's a place where students live together, sleep together, and study together online. We try to provide them 24/7 electricity as well as the cable internet. So we also provide accommodation and meal as well. So this is not just a place like a house that they eat and sleep. This is also a place that they can actually work together for the community. For example, like the recent flooding in the Taejun in Shanxi, you might have heard of that. So the students from that Taejun Learning Hub. So we have three different learning hubs. One in Mandalay, one in Taejun, and one in Yangon. So those students on those learning hub participated in this really effort, especially in this recent earthquake as well as the recent flooding. So I am based in Mandalay. I am the one who personally experienced that. I just want to share a little bit of that one. So in March 2028, I was in my apartment and I start to see everything's around me shaking because this is my first time experiencing a very intensive earthquake. And so when you look at it around your environment, everything collapsed and people are shocked and as well as like even after a few minutes, there are several shock waves coming up. So you can see the debris, rubble, collapsed buildings, and people are panic, chaos, and confusions as well. So the debt is over. The confirmed debt by the statement it's the 360 3600, but it could be higher. It could even reach to 10,000s. But in so within 24 hours, so we know that since we are the liberal arts and sciences educations, which really focuses on the civil engagement, so we know that we have to do something. Like we started working on the relief effort with the resources that we have. So within 24 hours, we launched the emergency relief campaign, and then we start providing the essential relief items. So you can see like food, water, mosquito net. Then you might be in Mandalay. There are a lot of mosquito. Like if you sleep outside on the road, you're gonna be flying with the mosquito. So this is also a very essential items. So within 40 hours, we provided uh, 2,000 liters drinking water and the 30 right bags, as well as some of the diesel for because electricity is not quite stable because electricity is very important to get the running water as well as for the using water. So that's why we also provided the fuel like diesel as well as the machinery for rubber removal for the rescue effort as well as so our students are also based in Mandalay and they also start launching their student-led emergency relief initiative. So beyond 48 hours, our relief go beyond Mandalay and start focusing on this rehabilitation effort. So after the earthquake, our response not just within Mandalay because Mandalay is a big city. Of course, there are thousands of people being affected. There are also places that are severely affected, which is in the remote area at the outskirts of the town, as well as in Zagai region. So we supported uh, emergency food and water, as well as we also donated some of the cash for those households who are income which is less than 150 per month, and for those people who their homes were completely destroyed. And I think I can share some of them in the video as well as the footage. So I hope. Wait a minute. Let me share my sound. Let me know if you cannot see my hear the sound. No. Okay. Wait a minute. Let me share my sound again. No, I think it doesn't look. That's okay. That's basically the collection of images.
Yeah, we cannot hear, but you can explain what you're saying.
Okay, so we actually arrived to the Jiaodao, which is the geographical epicenter of the earthquake. So, like, there was a disfigurement of the landscape. It's just like 100 or 20 meters. Like, there is a signboard in front of the village, and then it's just moved in the middle of the road because of the art disfigurement of the landscape. You can see these are the donation and activities that we have done it so far. So these are the student-led initiative. So students also are resident in Mandalay, as well as we also have students living in Yangon and different part of the countries. So they also try to come to the Mandalay, which actually take around 8 9 hour drive, and they also start participating in this student initiative of what the relief effort. Um, so the really effort action on the ground, the first one, they go to the Bo'o village, which is the outskirt of the city, and then followed by several different township who were severely affected by the earthquake. And the main collaborator is going to be the monastery as well as the community leaders, and we supported nearly 400 households with food, clean water, medical and hygiene supply and emergency shelters. So here are some of the insight on the ground experience on relief. So local civil society organizations now what like mobilized within hours, because the institutional responses was delayed. And some of the key effective areas are also inaccessible due to the conflict zone. And control, delivery, even basic supply require navigating high risk logistic and security protocol. Because when I try to go to these regions, I see several different checkpoints that actually check your identity if you're real or not, and then if what is your sole purpose on the really effort. Fortunately, we get passed through it, and we could be able to deliver at the needs for the community. We also encounter internally displaced person, like what I mean by that is, there are some areas where are actually severely affected by the armed conflict, and then they try to move to Mandalay because of the armed conflict, and then they start to experience the earthquake. This is like, being displaced for 2 times. This actually create a lot of trauma and then tragic damage to the mind. And so these are also some insight as well. So I think when it's come to doing the rally, the rally efforts require collaboration with the interested community representative, to verify effective household and then maintain order. So without local oversight, crowd may swarm. Like this is the unfortunately we didn't experience that one, but some of the volunteers who tried to go on the ground were actually swarmed by the crowd and the delivery vehicle, as well as the endangering the volunteers as well. So for example, like this proportionate impact across different socioeconomic classes. What I mean by that is some resident already grappling with poverty and then urgently seeking aid. Like some of the families has been living in a small and tight place. And 2 or 3 families are living together in this small and tight place. So rehabilitations will be extremely challenging. I think that Tencent, thank you so much for bringing that up about the Nugget cyclone, which actually take years and years to do the rehabilitation. So I think this update is going to be more or less the same to actually go back to the same situation because of considering those displaced and vulnerable populations. So we witnesses the UNESCO as well as the WHO station at the hospital, and the medical team from China, Japan, and Vietnam also deployed in Medley as a hospital. And the Red Cross convoy was attacked. I think that happened several weeks ago. And the China rescue team actually successfully rescued 5 survivors and from the collapsed high-rise building within 74 hours, which are actually the golden hours for the rescue effort. So yeah, I think that's gonna be it from my end about the all the experiences that I have been working on that really important. Thank you, Tencent.
Thank you, Mason. And yeah, audience, I think taking this time, please post any questions if any. And then meanwhile, let me ask some questions to the panelists. So Mason, first of all, thank you so much for the presentation. So the very basic the question first. What is the number of death toll as of today?
So it's expecting I cannot find the exact number. The expected number it could be so in this slide I mentioned about 3,600. I mentioned it could be higher because they are state and confirmed debt happening state there.
Oh, it's so confirmed death toll still now is 3,600. Is it
As far
correct?
as I have yes it is. Yes.
Oh, I see. Because I remember that people were initially talking about much larger numbers, like 50,000,
It could be
etc.
higher. Be higher. Yes.
I see. So yeah, for the audience, you might know Cyclone Nargis, which hit Myanmar, especially this Irrawaddy division in 2008. So it's already 17 years ago. And I guess the real death toll, we came to know the real death numbers only after a few months, I guess. After a few months, some journalists managed to get in anyhow, and then they started to report the numbers. Then the international society realized the real impact. Actually, back then, roughly 150,000 people passed away due to cyclone. And you know, cyclone taking the that many death stories, yeah, unprecedented. And it's not just a natural disaster, it's a kind of man-made disaster in a sense. And that became a wake-up call for the many people. And then that's actually the way how microcredit program became the more popular in the region. Even before then, there was a microcredit program run by PGMF and supported by UNDP. And then they started as a relief part of the relief program. They started a microcredit program in Irrawaddy, and that is one of the reasons why microcredit is very popular in Irrawaddy division. So a question to Michel now, which is so how are microfinance institutions in Mandalay coping with the situation right now?
Yeah, thank you, Taejun. So right now, the information I could collect from the ground and from some of my colleagues is the following: microfinance institution operating in Mandalay region mostly provide emergency aid and cash assistance. So basically, they are collecting money and emergency supplies and distributing to the needed and affected people, households, so most affected ones. So this is, I guess, the first phase of assistance. The
Right.
second phase, in my view, these MFIs will have to write off most of the loans. I mean,
Yeah.
from the clients who have been impacted by the earthquake, and then provide new loans to these clients because they know these clients, so they can trust these clients. These clients can still manage a loan, but of course they have to rebuild and restart and relaunch their business. So in the second step, I trust that this microfinance institution will provide new loans.
Is it interest-free loan or interest-bearing loan?
I guess it will be interest-bearing loan. I
Okay.
think so.
So the normal
It's
business.
difficult,
Yeah.
very difficult to do interest-free loans,
Yeah.
considering the
Unless you
situation.
get any grant program.
But it will be smaller loans than they used to have, I think, to start smaller loan and then maybe after one or two cycle, a bigger loan.
Yeah, in my understanding, actually, yes, interest-bearing loan was also what is provided after Cyclone Nargis, and still it was effective because of the very big demands on the building the business from scratch again. Okay, so again the question to Mason now. Actually, I have two questions. Number one is, as a person living in Mandalay, how much international attention do you feel as of today? So at the time of the earthquake, surely attention came to you, the people in the region. But people are becoming more and more forgetful these days. That's a very big difference since the Cyclone Nargis. I think in the time of Cyclone Nargis, I think were we were talking about it for a few months or so, at least. I saw some, the news stream. But here, so sitting in Japan, so I was there, but then after coming back, after a while, the actually most news outlets at this moment are hijacked by the US administration. So yeah, how do you see the current attention level that you are seeing in the field right now?
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for the question, Tencent. So, um, basically, when it started to happen, like it was become a headline news, like it was BBC, NBC, and everywhere. But after a couple of weeks later, and then it's downgrading. The attentions became downgraded. Of course, it definitely hijacked by the administration changes, and several different headline news. So yeah, when it's come to rescue effort, it's my personal point of view. It's already half completed in the rescue effort, because if you cannot do it within maybe 72 hours, like the survival rate is it's very unlikely. So that's why when it's come to the international attention, I think we're gonna be needing more. Like the need for the assistance, it's becoming higher when people start to do the rehabilitation effort. The basic needs like food and water, like emergency shelter, could be supplied within days. But when it's come to rehabilitation, what I don't mean by in terms of infrastructures, but like in terms of the mental support as well. People are living in the trauma. We are still experiencing the shockwave on a daily basis. So we are still scared to stay inside the building that we used to call home for more than 20 years, 30 years. So I think the international attentions is becoming less, and I think we got to do something about it, because this is something that we cannot do it alone. For the rehabilitation effort. So I hope I answer your questions.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I have one more question actually. So, the how do you say this the operations of this the relief operations? So quite often, what happens after any natural disaster is that even before international organizations get in there, there will be a huge number of international NGOs or local NGOs like yours. Yeah, in your case, it's a university, but anyway, so the people go there almost immediately and then build a sort of the boot camp and then start providing all the support. And then we are here right now, so it has been 50 days almost since then. And yeah, rule of thumb, I think sometimes these people, get out of the place after 3 to 6 months. And where are we right now? Are they still operating very actively, or you started to see some NGOs completing the program and started the exit process?
So thank you so much for the questions. So regarding the rescue effort, they already have the eliminated the operations several weeks ago, because it's no likely that they're going to be a survivor. But that body removal, it was stay ongoing until several weeks ago. And so when it's come to the medical relief effort, So some of the international organizations and their clinic have already left, as far as I have seen here in the city. So when it's come to the rehabilitation effort, I think this is as far as my perspective I'm seeing on a daily basis is like some of them are stay there, but majority have left when it's come to medical recovery as well as for the rescue team for rehabilitation. A few stay here for the for rebuilding the houses, and I also have engaged with some of the NGO who are trying to do the trauma recovery as well as the mental resilience. So these are the follow-up things that I have been discovering.
Hmm. Thank you very much. And wait a second. Okay. And then how long are you going to continue Parami's operation there?
As far as I reach
Okay.
ends. So, so I'm state based in Mandalay. My students are still state based in Mandalay, and we have been doing it since March 28 until now.
Hmm. Okay, okay. And the Michelle, the question to you. So already the operation was very difficult, as you said. It's not just macroeconomic crisis, but now it's civil war. And in conflict zones, we needed to shut down some branches. And on top of that, now we face this earthquake. And how do you project the future of microfinance sector in the country?
It's a tricky question, Taejun.
It's okay.
Um,
For your information, the audience,
yeah,
Michel
of
is a
course.
very honest person, honest and straightforward person. So he's
Yes, true.
not going to be very diplomatic. Okay.
Um, let's face reality. It's a very complex and challenging environment, as you mentioned, civil war. On top of that, we have the earthquake, but last year we had a flood also, which has impacted also our operations. So, I mean, it's I cannot have I don't have visibility, so very difficult to say anything about the future. Uncertainty and instability. Like I said to my colleagues all the time, let's have high hopes but low expectations. So let's move on, let's behave, let's work, let's operate like everything is normal. But of course, let's face some, we know that we are going to face and to cope with difficult situation and difficult time as well. But it's really a work on a daily basis, day by day.
Mm,
In Myanmar, it's really like this. You cannot foresee and plan in advance a lot. Really, a few weeks, few months in advance. That's all you can do, and I cannot predict really the future of Myanmar. I just have high hopes.
yeah.
For the time being, we can still operate in 7 regions. So, okay, that's not that bad.
Thank you. Let me ask additional question on this. And you said high hopes and low expectations. That's exactly, I think, what I felt when I visited there. And then at the same time, I was very amazed by the resilience of the employees of MIFIDA. Because if I were them, so after COVID, the military came in, a military coup came in, and
Mm, mm,
people are very optimistic about the future after the market opening in 2012. And um, and then still, things are getting harder and harder. I know that many people left the country already.
yeah,
Some people are
yeah,
still staying, and
yeah.
and then look, it looks like that they are still stable, and I was very amazed by them. And could
Mm,
you,
mm.
yeah, share with us your observation as a person who stays in Myanmar as a foreigner.
Yeah. You're right. Myanmar people are very resilient, I would say, and they love their country, and they want their country to develop, to expand, to grow, and they want to contribute to this, absolutely. So they want to stay, they want to work, they want to operate, they want to grow in their country. Now, considering the situation and, for example, the conscription law, some have to leave.
Yeah.
They don't want to be drafted, so they really have to leave. But most of my colleagues, they want to stay, and they want to stay with their family as well, with their parents and kids, and they have big hopes. Yes, very resilient people. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm amazed by this, really.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing it. And some people told me about their experience, and surely they had a period of depression, but they recovered largely, I think, thanks to the practice of meditation and some other things. And
Very true.
those who stay in Myanmar, yeah, it's the country has many, the religions, but the Buddhism is particularly popular. And still, in the early morning before dawn, in pagodas, I see people, praying and
True.
doing meditation.
Sure, it helps a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So, yes. And Mason, I think, yeah, it's nice if, you can talk a little bit about the vision and the mission of Parami, and how you see the situation, because Parami started as a first liberal arts university or institute, and you still are very hopeful about the future. And how do you see the potential of liberal arts education in Myanmar as of today under the circumstances?
Much for the question, Vincent. So since we are the very first liberal arts and sciences education institutions based in Myanmar, so let me talk in two different ways. The first one is the disruptions of technology. This is not just in Myanmar, but it is experiencing all over the world. Like the replacement of jobs, the replacement of things with the AI, and then things are being automated and stuff like that. That we never replace the human touch. So that's why we are trying to give them the general education. What are the human sense? What are the civic engagement? What it is feel like to be human, so that that some of the jobs and some of the things that cannot be replaced. So this is the first thing, from the global trend. But when it's come to especially situations like in Myanmar, the need is now more than ever, because we have been living in this underdeveloped situations more than 50 years, and then this is a cycle 10 again, and we have been left behind, far behind by the neighboring countries. We are very low in terms of education, very low in terms of income per capita. We are very low in terms of technology, especially in when it's come to the disaster resilience effort. Like people are, removing the rubble and these dead body with their bare hand. Like we don't have technology. Like we are very quite amazed in a sense. Like there was a rescue team, and then they trying to go inside. And they come up with the technology that can give you a signal maybe 2 or 3 minutes before the earthquake. So this is a very cool technology and a very life-saving technology that can put the rescuer on a safer place. So in that sort of situation, liberal arts and sciences education really foster on the critical thinking as well as from the civics engagement. That's why. So in this very different circumstance, if we can resilient like this, and in the more and better circumstances, I think we can do it much better. So that's why we are trying our best with our effort and with the resources that we had in our hand right now. And we are very grateful to have those wonderful students who are civically engaged, not just in the academic context, but also in this community service context as well. Thank you so much, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, just one anecdote to share to add on what Mason said. From the founder of Parami, Cho Montun, I heard about this story, which is about exam, where in exam you have to perfectly memorize the textbook, and then no paraphrasing was allowed. And when I heard about it, I thought about, okay, this is like uh, Buddhism chanting, you cannot paraphrase chanting, and same thing. That's what I thought. I know it's not something to laugh about, but I think it was the very tough thing about the country and the people about the age of maybe 60 years old or something. They took some better education, but after then, the education was taken over, and actually this kind of education started, and therefore this critical thinking to be taught in liberal arts education is very important, not just for the sake of the better career of the students, but for also for the sake of the democracy in general. Unless people think critically, it's very difficult to make democracy work. All right, so we have 10 minutes for Q&A, and we have at this moment two questions. Sorry, for one question, actually, I answered the offline already, and I got three questions now. So first question is about the Myanmar's microfinance sector. Okay, so before the earthquake, Myanmar's microfinance sector had unique characteristics compared to other countries. That's a question that may be addressed to Michel. So, yeah, please go ahead, Michel.
The main characteristic of the microfinance sector in Myanmar,
Yep.
I will say diverse. We have a lot of MFIs in Myanmar, a lot of institutions, more than 200. So it's a lot for a country like Myanmar. And of course, very small, medium, and also very big. So great diversity of microfinance institutions. And only 13 have a deposit-taking license, so can provide savings services. The rest only credit services only. So I will say diversity, and also all over the country. Yeah? All of the country was really covered. Now, obviously, because of the civil war and whatever, of course, it's shrinking. But it was the case when I joined MIFIDA. So.
Do you see some people talk about high repayment ratio culture, and then honesty of
No,
the.
you're right. You're right. No, you're right. I forgot this. You're right. I think because of the education, because of the cultural background and Buddhism, uh, people have a strong loyalty, and repayment. Repayment is very high. Repayment rate is very high. Right? If there is no external shock, people will repay.
Hmm.
Of course, with external shock like coup, COVID, earthquake, the will is there.
Hmm.
There's a will to repay. That's really true. Right, very true. Right. Very good behavior
Yeah.
in terms of repayment and credit history. Yeah. Right.
Do you like people of Myanmar?
Ah, yeah, yeah. I like Myanmar people very much. Yeah. Very, very nice, very pleasant, welcoming,
Hmm.
hearted people. No, very nice, and it's also a safe place. It's really safe for foreigners, which is not the case in many other places in the world. So no, it's an enjoyable place, very enjoyable place. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, Michelle.
Despite the context, of course, which is
Yeah, sure.
negative, obviously.
Okay, the next question is actually addressed to Mason. The access issues in conflict affected areas are already, well, we talked about it. And could you talk more about how local communities are dealing with those challenges?
Thank you, Taejun. So, I would like to bring up the affected group, and the categorize that affected group. Like majority of them are the daily wage earner, like construction workers and market vendors, as well as the smallholder farmers, and as well as the informal laborers. People living in the informal settlement, without legal land right. And I mean, and as well as the internally displaced person. So the key challenges are it's going to be like the house losses and loss of income, access to aid, the informal loan. I don't have experience about the microfinance, but people are taking the informal loans, and then this actually give them a big pressure when it's come to the when they discover when they experience the disaster like this. So when it's come to the conflict effective areas, some of the areas are the controlled by the military, some of them are controlled by the opposition. Um, just like that, you can never um, stand on one side. You just have to be flexible when you are trying to do the business, even for your hard laborers. You have time to be flexible with every person. And the access to information, for example, like internet and electricity, this is like the privilege for them.
Mm.
Um, so I believe I answered the questions, Tanzania.
Yeah, thank you very much. And one more question I think is about, yeah, do you have anything to add about mental stability or resilience of the people of Myanmar?
You asking me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Uh, so let me say, people in Myanmar, majority of them are Buddhism and they believe in karma. Um, so like even though they have been suffering a lot, like they trying to see on the optimistic perspective. Like of course the meditations could also be helping. I mean the way they think about the experiences that they have been suffering. So yeah, when it's come to mental stabilities, like they are of course they are tremor, like especially the insecurity and fear to live in the damaged building that the with the shockwave that could happen at any time. So we have been experiencing a horrible experience, year by year, like flooding, the political situations, as well as the earthquake and stuff like that. And it's actually built up on this one.
Mm.
I am not quite sure like how people are coping with that. I am also the one who is experiencing that one,
Mm.
and we are coping it fine. But there's mindset like people are trying to do the consultation and the mental counseling. We consider it as necessary.
Mm.
So this is also a very interesting fact about it. Like when people heard that if you are doing the mental counseling, like are you all right? Or like people are gonna be looking at the string items.
Mm. Thank you so much. You yourself, would be nice if you could share with us your ups and downs in the last 4 years or 3 years.
Okay, um so I was based in Shan State, in the northern part of Shan State. It's my hometown. And I have been working in Parami University for more than 4 years. In the first 2 years, I was been working online back in the Shin State.
Mm.
But with the Operation 1027 and the conflict, I couldn't live in my place anymore. My dad passed away because of COVID, and my mom and myself have to leave the hometown because of the area bombardment. And then now I am residing in Mandalay and then I experience the earthquake. But somehow, of course, I am not the only one who's suffering right now. Like the whole country is suffering, but we have each other to support each other for the better future.
Mm. Thank you, Mason. Yeah, from Shan. Shan noodle is my favorite food in Myanmar. When I'm in Myanmar, every day, every day I eat Shan noodle only, and then
Yeah.
after I get fed up with Shan noodle, I go back to Japan. Yeah. Okay, so we have just 1 minute remaining for QA. So yeah, I think we still have time. So Michelle, little quick, the we got final question. So yeah, in the wake of quake, where could disbursement be shifted, and what kind of sector is supposed to be focused? So maybe you can answer that question very briefly, and then we will closing.
But all sectors, I mean, have to be supported, and the most important is the trust. You know, when you grant a loan, you need to trust the person. So if the microfinance institution know the client, so it's okay. They can provide grant a loan. It's okay. It's not a big deal. Even if it's a new start, relaunch, whatever. The most important is to trust that this person will use the loan on purpose and repay correctly the loan. So for me, all businesses and all sectors have to be supported.
Great, thank you, Michel. And we have 5 minutes to go. And the one announcement from we are going to get one announcement from Mason about Parami's yeah action. And so Mason, over to you now.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Since Parami University is a nonprofit institution, we are not just providing the education services, but including me and the students, are also actively involved in the rehabilitation effort of those community, these are affected. So our operation is still ongoing, and here is our donation link, and your donations directly goes to the beneficiary directly. So please consider donating a penny, whatever you can it is. That's going to be very, very helpful for the community who are suffering right now. Thank you so much.
And you're very kind enough to share the names of the others. And can you, yeah, you still have time. So can you very briefly touch up on these three organizations?
Me?
No, Mason, sorry.
Oh, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
thank you,
this
thank
is
you.
from, okay. Oh, it's from Michel, sorry.
Yeah, it's my. This
Yeah.
organization, these names have been provided by Eurocham,
Hmm.
European Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, I see. Medical Action
Uh,
Myanmar, Community Partners International,
yeah,
SON. Is it correct?
Son
SON
International. Yeah.
International.
Son International.
So these are the recommendation from the source.
Yeah, recommended by this
Great.
Eurocham.
Yeah. And then, yeah, moving on, I think we can stop the screen sharing. Yeah. So we have 3 minutes to go. So final word from Mason, Michel, and then yeah, I will also give a final remark, and then we can close. Mason.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all so much for joining this webinar. I'm also very grateful to share what we have been doing on the ground. And if you have any projects and initiative that you would like to work together with in terms of the educational initiative, you can reach out to me or to Parami University. We are always happy to collaborate. As well as if you want to do a donation for the earthquake relief, please do so through the link that I have provided. Thank you so much for giving the chance for me to talk here.
Thank you, Mason. Michel?
Yes, Taejun, thank you. So I have already shared one motto that I like, high hope and low expectation. I will share another motto that I specifically like and disclose to all my colleagues. That's the motto we are using in MIFIDA for each presentation. And this is the following: where there is a will, there's a way. This has been said by Edward Whymper, a famous English alpinist in the 19th century. At that time, there was no map, there was no way, but Whymper had a will and found the way. So let's do the same in Myanmar and for Myanmar.
Oh, that's very philosophical. And Michel, by the way, is a very big fan of literature and philosophy.
And alpinist.
Okay. Yeah. So from my end, so whenever I am I tend to be overwhelmed by the very difficult reality. I try to take 100 steps back, and if you see things from a decade or even decades perspective, there always has been progress in human history. Sure, ups and downs are there, but for example, in Myanmar, even under the situation, I'm sure the longevity every year, every decade has improved. So we are making a progress, and therefore we shouldn't lose faith and hope. And then Gojo is willing to stay in Myanmar and then continue the operation. And I'm sure, although many people needed to leave the country, there still is a big hope as long as people like Mason and other young expert professionals decided to stay in the country. Okay, that's it for today's session, and thank you so much, everyone, for joining. And Gojo and Company keep giving this webinar from time to time. So see you next time. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.